The Navy may extend the service life of its 4 SSGN Ohio-class guided missile submarines able to travel with 154 Tomahawks per boat. Submarine-fired Tomahawks have often been the first to strike weapons across many years of conflict, as they can target enemy command and control, infrastructure, equipment and weapons along with other critical high-value targets. At times, depending upon the conflict, there will be a need to unleash massive amounts of firepower or at least position very large amounts of firepower within striking distance of an enemy coastline. Submarines firing Tomahawks can often do this from safe standoff ranges to prepare an enemy coastline for further, closer in kinds of attacks. Tomahawk missiles able to change course in flight to destroy moving targets at sea. Hypersonic weapons fired from the deck of Navy destroyers and air-launched long-range anti-ship missiles, LRASM, are fast-evolving instruments of naval firepower, something which remains an unparalleled priority for the Navy and Marine Corps.Firepower will continue to prove extremely critical for naval operations, particularly given the sheer size and capability of potential adversaries' naval forces. The ability to mass power blended with precision targeting is a massive priority for the Navy, one reason why the service may extend the service life of its 4 SSGN Ohio-class guided missile submarines able to travel with 154 Tomahawks per boat. Drones, networks, electronic warfare, and AI-enabled multi-domain targeting are all properly receiving massive amounts of focus when it comes to innovation, modernization, and preparations for future warfare. Yet none of these next-generation applications can achieve much battlefield effects without simple firepower and lethality. Ultimately, lethal effects must be brought upon a target with sufficient destructive power to achieve the intended result. Even with the many breakthroughs in the realm of precision targeting, many targets can be large and require a substantial amount of firepower to destroy. This reality is not lost on weapons developers, who recognize the importance of maintaining undersea firepower in the form of torpedoes and Tomahawk missiles. Part of this important need to mass firepower has for years been contained in the U.S. Navy's so-called SSGNs, guided missile submarines, each able to carry as many as 154 Tomahawk missiles. This is an extremely impactful amount of mobile, undersea firepower, particularly given that Tomahawks can travel as far as 900 miles to a target. SSGNs have been used to fire weapons in several conflicts, including Libya in 2011. These submarines, much like the nuclear-armed Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines, have already more than outlived their intended lifespan. Therefore, in anticipation of their retirement, the U.S. Navy has been fast-tracking what it calls Virginia payload modules for Block V Virginia-class submarines. This module is an added 80-foot section on Virginia-class submarines that massively increases firepower from 12 Tomahawks to 40 Tomahawks per boat. This initiative, already progressing and under construction, is intended as a deliberate effort to help offset the loss of firepower expected when the 4 SSGNs retire. However, given the sheer mass, scope, and size of potential targets in rival nations, some might be inclined to explore the possibility of extending the SSGN service life even further. Potential adversaries can present a wide array of large, yet spread apart targets such as ships, buildings, armored vehicles, and other high-density, dispersed, large objectives, therefore a successful attack upon them would likely require a large amount of sea-launched firepower. It will take many more years for sufficient numbers of Block V Virginia-class boats to arrive, so perhaps it does make sense to extend SSGNs beyond what might seem possible. This is not an easy task to accomplish, however, as they have already been in service for decades and have already exceeded their expected service life. The first of 4 SSGNs, the USS Ohio, was commissioned as far back as 1981. Extending service life will require additional maintenance, upkeep, and sustainment of critical systems such as electronics, weapons systems, computing, command and control, and simple hull structure. Should this be accomplished, the U.S. Navy could sustain very large amounts of firepower for many more years as Block V Virginia-class boats arrive. An attack campaign scenario against either Russia or China would likely require large amounts of firepower to attack air defenses, command and control structures, equipment, and force concentration separated by hundreds of miles. Any counterattack in response to a Russian or Chinese assault would need to overwhelm attacking forces with responsive sea-launched firepower. The U.S. Navy has decided to retain its Ohio-class submarine capabilities for the Tomahawk strike mission. Ohio-class submarines have been an important part of the U.S. Navy's strategic deterrence and defense capabilities for decades. Originally designed as ballistic missile submarines, some of these ships were converted to carry conventional cruise missiles, including the Tomahawk Land Attack Missile, TLAM. The decision to retain the Ohio-class submarines for the Tomahawk strike mission was driven by several factors. First and foremost, these submarines offer a highly stealthy and formidable platform from which to launch precision strikes. With their ability to operate undetected beneath the surface, the Ohio-class submarines can approach enemy coastlines or heavily fortified areas, making them ideal for long-range attacks against time-sensitive or high-priority targets. The cost-effectiveness of this approach also plays an important role in Navy decisions. Building a new submarine from scratch would involve heavy financial investments and years of development. By reusing existing Ohio-class submarines for the Tomahawk mission, the Navy can save time and money, ensuring a more rapid and efficient response capability. The Ohio-class submarines have undergone several upgrades over the years, increasing their operational capabilities and extending their service life. This continuous improvement allows the Navy to modernize the submarine and adapt it for new roles, such as conventional strike missions using the Tomahawk missile. Another factor that contributed to this decision was the nature of the evolving global threat. While strategic deterrence remains mission-critical, the U.S. military also faces challenges in dealing with asymmetric threats and regional conflicts. The Tomahawk-equipped Ohio-class submarines provide the Navy with a flexible and versatile tool to deal with a wide range of potential scenarios. Additionally, the decision to retain the Ohio-class submarines for the Tomahawk strike mission is in line with the Navy's broader vision for a future submarine force. As the Navy develops next-generation submarines such as the Columbia-class, keeping the Ohio-class submarines in the modified role allows for a smoother transition and ensures continuity of capability throughout the replacement process. The U.S. Navy's decision to retain the Ohio-class submarines for the Tomahawk strike mission reflects a pragmatic and strategic approach to modernizing its submarine fleet. By leveraging the existing capabilities of these submarines and leveraging the proven Tomahawk missile system, the Navy can maintain a powerful and cost-effective means of projecting force and responding to multiple threats on the global stage. In a significant strategic decision, the United States Navy has chosen to retain its Ohio-class submarine capability for the Tomahawk strike mission. The move comes as part of a broader effort to maintain a flexible and agile naval force in an ever-changing global security landscape. The Ohio-class submarines, known for their nuclear deterrence role, will now be equipped to carry out precise and powerful Tomahawk missile strikes, providing the Navy with a formidable long-range strike capability.